Hello, I think you're the first person on. Right, I guess the notifications are just getting sent out then, because obviously other people are just joining now. So, it's going to be a Q&A stream, so ideally people should be asking questions in the thing. I've put actually text on there like people suggested now, just to say read the description. It's also in the title of the stream, so that should hopefully stop people constantly asking the same stuff. And I'll adjust the speed of the kind of live chat stuff depending on how fast stuff keeps coming in or doesn't come in. When you say ghost filters, I take it you mean GOST, like G-O-S-T filters. eBay, but I don't know why you'd actually want to buy GOST filters, because only like the modern Russian ones are sort of safe. You probably want something like a Polish FP5 normalized filter that goes on GOST masks, but you know, doesn't contain asbestos and it's actually modern. Well, I don't do as many videos any longer because as I said, I've started a new job. But recently I've done quite a few gas mask videos still. But this is the problem with my channel, is no matter what I do, people complain I'm not making their favourite type of videos. I've actually filmed some more lighter ones recently because people seem to like those and don't complain too much. So, yesterday's video was a gas mask video. Let's go back. One on nuclear war, that's quite related to gas masks, isn't it? CBRN type stuff. Did one on my halberd and helmet, so that's other weapon stuff. There's a load more lined up videos on gas masks at the moment, so no, I've not really done less gas mask videos, to be honest. Yeah, I already said what my new job was. It's just a cleaning type job, which suits me fine, but long hours. As said, I'd advise people to look at a load of my other videos rather than repeatedly asking questions. There's a big read the description thing for lots of this stuff. I might get more helmets, but the problem is helmets tend to be more expensive and take up more space. That's why I like gas masks, because they're smaller. Yeah, masks filter out viruses and bacteria and things like that. Although I don't know if a P3 or like a P100 filter, whatever you want to call it, based on what country you're in, actually stops 100% of viruses due to the size of some of the like microbes or whatever it is. You're certainly a lot better having the mask and filter than not having it, but I don't know if it's 100% like protection from every kind of airborne disease. That's a hobby gamer drone. Yeah, is that bundled together? The S10 alone for that £35 is fairly decent. Mark 6 helmets are pretty bad for protection, but they're interesting things. But if you got the mask and the helmet together for 35, that's a very good deal. No, because a gas mask without a filter doesn't filter anything. It's just sucking in regular air. No, I'm not going to do a PO box. As I said, it's just too risky because of all the people that like to send in dodgy stuff. What do you mean, years ago, why did I do very basic videos? Because my channel was new. It seems a bit of an irrelevant question to me, to be honest, Gristle. Those videos are just like filming all around the mask, so you could see what it looked like from all the angles. If you look on YouTube at about the same time I did that video, quite a few other people used to do videos like that, where they just put a mask on a mannequin head and like spin it around 360 degrees and that was the video. If you go back to sort of times like 2012, lots of YouTube videos are very basic. Because I think it was 2005, wasn't it, YouTube started? But it's only in the last couple of years YouTube's become really big kind of business for a lot of people. They're either Austrian or German mountain boots that are really good boots, Ronnie. I'd recommend those. I had a pair for years until I eventually wore them down inside. Because I don't have enough new lighters to make a new lighter collection. I think you're kind of asking stupid questions on purpose, aren't you? So we'll see how you react to that. Because it seems like you're asking lots of questions that are basically, why don't you do something that's very obvious? Now, read the description. So you're asking questions that are literally in there. Yeah, but I haven't. I thought of the chat on relatively fast, 'cause it's only 10 seconds for thing between, and I'd actually get more questions coming in. If I see one that I can get imported easily, yes, but a lot of the time no, because customs likes to steal parcels in the UK. I literally just answered a question like that. Read the description. How can I join the military if I'm medically unfit to serve? I actually don't know if people come on these streams on purpose to act like this, or if well, is there lots of problems with it, like the screw thread's broken or something like that, or the voice diaphragm's broken, or the bits don't connect quite right? But as I said before, PMKs and GP7s generally are bad, because they were made during the time the Soviet Union collapsed, or the Russian Federation was pretty new, so there was like no quality control on anything. Yeah, if people keep doing that, I'm just going to start blocking them, to be honest, because that's why it's literally there, so people don't keep asking FAQ questions. Yeah, they were really simple to do, Callum. They were just like, where you strap one bit through and then you pull the other bit backwards. It's a very simple kind of connector, but they work alright. I was surprised how good that Chinese M64 was, to be honest, because I wasn't thinking much of it, but it's surprisingly good. Yeah, I've been to Poland. I've got videos from Poland on here, actually. When you say M65, Gisley, I'm assuming you mean the Chinese M65, not the German M65, because the German M65 is much better than the PH gas head. You get the bottle, unknown Russian, you fill it with water, you connect the drinking tube from the GP7 to the bottle, and then you turn it upside down and hope it doesn't leak everywhere. Yeah, I've got a video on a mask coming out that you haven't seen yet. I did actually put a picture of it on my Instagram, which I barely use. But yeah, I'm still getting masks, it's getting much harder now to find masks I don't have that are sensibly priced. Yeah, I've read Roadside Picnic. That gets mentioned all the time in my Stalker streams. I read that last year. Well, that mask, it takes NATO filters. I tested that. NATO filters fit it, and with banana oil you can't smell. So that's good. There was a quality control problem of mine that you'll see when I did the video, but I was able to fix it myself fairly easily. Yeah, that's probably just because you've got a GP7V. You know, like I said, the quality control on them is really bad, so... Yeah, well, if you put it through eBay, you can at least get your money back if it doesn't arrive. No, I'm not going to modify any of my lighters, I'm just keeping them as they are because I collect them. But obviously if I was going to do that, I'd have to make sure it was totally dry of fuel beforehand. That depends, because there's a lot of quality control things between them. Out of the ones I've got, I don't know if I actually have any carbon fibre ones, because carbon fibre and fiberglass are kind of used interchangeably when you buy a lot of the bolts. But I've certainly had fiberglass and I've had aluminium. So I would say probably fiberglass, but as I said, I've had like crap aluminium ones and crap fiberglass ones. It really depends on how good it is, where like the actual arrowheads attach and all the things like that, because with some of them those bits are really badly sort of glued on. Yeah, there's several PDF variants I don't have. Well, World War II was obviously the biggest, but do you mean like weird obscure conflicts then? I'd have to have a think about that. Depends. Do you want one just as a collecting point, like you say, or one that will actually offer you protection? Because those are kind of different things. For collection point, if you just want to start out collecting helmets, I'd look for something cheap and unusual looking, because it doesn't matter against obviously protection values. But if you wanted one for actual protection, just get a modern Kevlar helmet. Yeah, no chance from shattering, but obviously I've found sometimes with like the fiberglass ones, you can do a couple of bad shots and they seem to be fine, and they're not bent, where sometimes with the aluminium ones they bend on, you know, the first impact. Yeah, I have no interest in the PMK Frida. I don't want... PMK isn't very good, as I've said before. When you say hood mask, do you mean like GP5s, like helmet masks? Maybe Deadwood Jerry? Hard to say, because there's a couple of TV shows I've quite liked. Well, if somebody made one, yes, but at the moment all I know is that they're 3D printed and the quality control on them isn't very good, and they're not really sold as such. It's more you can just download a 3D printed thing on it. Let's see, because I mean the problem is with eBay is it depends what country you're in, depends, you know, what you will see on eBay. Yeah, if I type in stab vest, lots of ex-police ones come up. Let me just type in police vest as well and see if that makes the... Yeah, if I type in police vest, there's loads that just say ex-police body armour. You just have to make sure it's not only the cover, but generally if it's about £30 plus, that's good. FP5 isn't a gas mask, it's a filter. Yeah, I think he has. I think there's some other sellers on eBay that have FP5, so you could just buy it from them. Yeah, just go on the UK eBay then, ebay.co.uk, and type in police armour or something like that, and loads come up. Yeah, that would be cool, getting an air raid siren, but I've never seen any actually for sale, and I bet if they're on there they'd be expensive, and you can't really do something like that without alerting everybody. Yeah, I've bought quite a lot of gas masks from him in the past. He has lots and lots of stuff from Poland, because he's Polish. But most of his stuff is just Warsaw Pact stuff, although he's getting more modern Polish stuff in now and then. Right, cheers. Is the 6B47 helmet that Russian one, or just Google it? Is that the is that a ballistic nylon type Kevlar one, or is it actually the titanium one? Oh, Well, one site selling it says it doesn't have any ballistic protection, so then it's crap, isn't it? So I actually have no idea. No, I don't have a dosimeter. I bought a while ago from him, I did videos on years ago, an actual radiation alarm and a Geiger counter, but I've got a SOX dosimeter thing now. What you on about, Mechaholic? You just literally said I have one but can't sell it, and that's the only message of yours that came through? People aren't allowed to send links in chat. YouTube automatically deletes it. It's not like I can even approve it. So just bear that in mind. If you're trying to post links and stuff, YouTube will just delete your message and I can't see your message. And I think if you do it too much, YouTube just shadow bans you from commenting on people's videos. So I'd warn you not to do it. Because I had to warn other people about that. All of a sudden it's like I've blocked them and I can't see them posting, but I've not blocked them. It's because YouTube's done it. Yeah, it would be cool to have a GOS to NATO adapter, but sadly I don't think other than 3D printed ones people have done, they exist. Because there's not really a market for them. I mean, there in a sense is a market for them, but not a mass production kind of market. It's not like 60 to 40mm filter converters that actually had a proper purpose, which was, you know, nations getting rid of 60mm filters but not wanting to get rid of their 60mm masks. Is that a trick question, Spooky? It should be pretty obvious how you refill the Zippo. I've even done videos on it on this channel. Well, in theory, if it's a real helmet, then it should be similar protection, I guess, to the Pasket and things like that. But the thing is, I've said with Russian helmets quite often here, especially the titanium ones, is there's a massive, like, replica market for them, which is fine. But the issue is, lots of the time replicas are sold as a real thing, so you're going to basically get scammed and potentially put your life in danger if you're buying those helmets. I think it's just literally to stop all, like, the spyware kind of spam, because there's lots of, like, weird scams on YouTube where bots try and put links into things. Well, my opinion on all those pretty much Russian and Soviet helmets is I think they're really cool, but as I said, I'm not going to get one because I'm not going to run the risk of being scammed. I'll have a look at those filters, but most of the time the Chinese filters I've had have been absolutely awful. Well, those ones are actually of a decent size. They're not tiny like those other filters, but I still wouldn't trust them. You're literally just going to have to pull it really hard. Maybe put the Zippo in a vise and then pull it. I don't know. Favourite music's probably prog rock, if you go back to like 70s prog rock. Yeah, as long as you know you're getting a legit thing, that's fine, but as I've said, I really don't trust a lot of the sites online selling them, where, you know, there's loads of replicas floating about and just all stuff like that. Yeah, you see, this is the thing. Lots of people say, oh, I spotted a Russian helmet for $100, and that's where I immediately think they're getting sold a replica. No idea what Medway Medals is. I guess it's a site that sells medals, but I really have no interest in buying medals, because I really hate all that stolen valor stuff. I know some people have legitimate uses as buying medals as like collectors and things like that, but it just really does not interest me. Well, if the hose develops a rip in it, your mask is rendered useless instantly. I mean, I know you could unscrew the hose and screw the filter on directly, but the point is, in a gas scenario, that's potentially lethal. And it also can make it a bit harder to turn your head. It really depends. It depends on the mask. Weirdly enough, in a video I've got coming up, I've actually talked about this. Let me tell you what day it's on, and then you can watch that video and see if it answers most of your questions. It's mostly about filter locations, but I cover hose in it, and it comes out on the 26th of September, so a couple of weeks away yet. As I've said before quite a few times, with CBRN suits or NBC suits, I would actually probably recommend you buy fishing waders and like a big thick coat. Just watch my videos on it, because a lot of actual NBC suits are really awkward and clumsy to use, and a lot, like the charcoal style ones, lots of NATO countries use, are normally expired and useless by the time you get them. So I'd personally just recommend the old rubberized NDC suits, or just making your own with lots of waterproof clothing. I've done lots of videos on NBC suits, so just watch those. Yeah, for £12, if you can get a Soviet helmet and an MUA, that's good. Oh, are you saying the Soviet helmet is just £12? Yeah, do you know what actual helmet it is though? But pretty much any helmet for £12 is a good deal. Even the steel pot old Soviet helmets could stop pistol rounds at like 10 yards or something. Not repeatedly, but one or two shots they could do before the helmet kind of deformed and ripped apart. Doesn't really matter if you've got a canvas covered hose or just a rubber one. I mean, unless you're going to buy a modern hose, most old ones have risks because just a tiny hole in the hose will render it useless. Don't buy a new keyboard, buy a IBM Model M if you can find a refurbished one in good condition. No, because they're politically controlled in this country, and the UK is turning into a police state, so no, I have no interest in it. Yeah, I've got the Polish L1 NBC suit, but I use the top half of it, and I use the fishing waders that I bought as the bottom half. And that offers much better protection than a regular NBC suit, and it's faster to put on and more comfortable. Probably might. Have you seen that GM54 or whatever it's called? I've got the one that's mummified. Uh, 80 something silent voice, not entirely sure on the number because I lost the file where I recorded them. Yeah, just search on my channel and you'll find loads of videos. It's the easiest way of doing it. Fine, spooky, but I don't really want to go into that in this stream because you get lots of trolls and stuff on. You know, that's confidential. Yeah, that's pretty good. So you got, like, I guess the bag, the mask, filter. Nope, never looked at that at all. Sheep. Unless I'm thinking of something totally different. And that would be on a Section 1 Me Too, which is going to be very hard to get unless you regularly do, like, a shooting club where you shoot similar guns. I've done videos on that, mate, but I'd say well, I don't think the GSR is the worst in the world. It's pretty bad. It really depends. SIG P226 for the gun question. Well, my GM30 is in like really bad condition. I don't want to damage it even more by forcing filters on. But my Finnish World War II mask, normalize filters fit it and work. Oh, oh, do you mean by IDA? Do you mean like that rebreather series, or is it like the big backpack thing for the underwater rebreathers? That's right at the top of the Q&A FAQ. So I don't know if you're trolling or not. Yeah, that'd be a wasted £60. Yeah, I'll buy Stalker 2 if it does come out, and hopefully it'll be good. As I've said, I'm not getting super excited about it because Stalker 2's already meant to have been made and then got cancelled. I'm not talking to you, sheep. I'm talking to the guy who asked me what my favourite gas mask was. Unless you're trying to ask me something else, but you didn't type the question. Yeah, that's a very good deal. Is that the semi-automatic version of the L85, the L98? Or does it have a fire selector on it as well? Yeah, probably a well rod. Because that... What caliber was the well rod? Was that 22 long rifle or was that 9mm? That was actually 9mm. Yeah, I'd definitely rather have a well rod. Alright, cool. Read the FAQ then, and everything, so you don't ask sort of questions that I've already answered loads of times, but otherwise welcome. What can't you find on Google? You can use any tea bag, it's just Yorkshire tea is good tea, whereas lots of brands of tea are like really kind of grainy and horrible. There's subsonic 9mm ammo. It's literally, what they do with a lot of the subsonic guns is they have a version of the cartridge that just either has less propellant in or they put a heavier bullet on it. Yeah, you could steal your tea with a bayonet, but don't pierce the tea bag by accident, because then you'd get all the tea leaves in the actual tea. I've tried that before. I prefer green tea with lemon if I'm doing that, because if I'm having black tea, I'm always going to really have milk with it. If I'm having green tea, that's normally what I drink more neat. No, that'd be pretty messy. It's pointless, because if you demonstrate that it works with a regular canteen, you don't need to do it like that. It's also going to gunk up the inside of the drinking tube because it's stain everything. Yeah, I never did cadets or anything like that. Does that mean it's the 12th time you said that, Vlad? Yeah, I've done videos on my bayonets, but I don't have very many because annoyingly bayonets are quite hard to find for sale here. Yeah, it's probably they don't actually know a suppressor or silencer work, so they just buy any ammo. eBay, I'm sure that's in the video description. No, it's not. Okay, I'll pop it in there. You'll let off. Alright, it's in there now. So that was a legit question, but I've answered it now in the Q&A description as well. Yeah, there's videos of people using GP5s underwater where they've connected them to an oxygen tank, like an air tank. I'll probably do a Halloween special this year, but also if I get to 50k subscribers first, whichever comes first, I'll do a 50k special that might be funny. But I don't know if everybody will get it. Yeah, but you keep saying about the filter and you're not actually saying what it is. Either YouTube's removing your comments or you're not typing it in. Well, if you're that screwed anyway, you might as well drink tea out of it. If I had enough money, yeah, I'd do all sorts of silly things like that. I was watching a documentary on nuclear war earlier. Well, not a documentary, it was just literally telling you how screwed you are and if there was a nuclear exchange. It was made by the guy who made Freds, but a couple of years before he made Freds. It was really interesting because they were showing that there was actually like pre-made little bunkers that you could buy, like cargo container style ones, have it buried, you know, in your garden with loads and loads of earth on it, and then they had like a manual hand crank air system. It was actually pretty clever. Yeah, you're still going to hear like the whizzing noise even if you have a suppressor on there. Because I don't know if you noticed, but if you get a 177 air rifle, even if it's one with a suppressor on the end of the barrel and you shoot lightweight pellets through it, you'll still hear a rifle crack from it because the pellets are travelling faster than the speed of sound a lot of the time. It's not just asthma I've got, but I'm not going to go into that, as I've already said about medical questions. Soviet L1 NBC suit, let me look it up. Because I know the Polish L1 NBC suit, but not the Soviet one. Oh, alright, it's literally very similar. Well, in theory it should be airtight once you've done all the straps up. I mean, possibly, but you can't really do it, can you, in the UK, because it would be illegal to take a tent out and do it. And then if I film the video on it, you're basically filming that you've broken the law. So is your suit broken then? Because you should basically have, basically on the suit you should have like the kind of spike button type things where you pull the straps over and then push them through. That's how they do up. So if you're missing that, your suit's broken. Probably the Pascut, but I don't have an actual American Pascut. I've got like a British equivalent of it. Oh, so you're from Hull, not Hull, sorry, you're from Sheffield then, Dan. Yeah, so your suit's broken, golly, welcome, useless. Yeah, they keep talking about the Novichok thing, you know, I just don't pay attention to it anymore because it's just the British government trying to hide the fact they're screwing other things up. Yeah, cool. I'm sure you'll like the FM12. Yeah, I assume that would work. It wouldn't work as a military thing, because everybody shoots each other now. But, yeah, it would protect you from animals. I imagine one of those bomb disposal suits would work against animal attack. I'm just going to quickly go on eBay while I'm waiting for questions to come in and see if there's any gas masks that come up that are obvious, interesting ones. Well, you know what I mean, like ones that are unusual. BEM 4GPs for about £30 of the carrier bag. That's the most interesting thing so far. There's a Czech M10, which I'm not a fan of, but it comes with an NBC suit, which is kind of interesting. There's a thing that says a GP5, which is clearly a PDF mask, not a GP5. So well done, the person who got a mask that looks nothing like a GP5 and thought it was a GP5. One that's not got an actual name on it, which is kind of interesting, not sure what it is. Somebody trying to sell a single part of the GSR for £15. That Chinese one I got. NBC facelets, but they're too expensive, so I'm not going to bother getting it. What else is there? Not much to answer the question, well, at least not much for me who has loads of masks. It's just the usual suspects coming up. Also packed masks of different variants, paint masks, things like that. Right, I've probably missed some comments now, so scroll up quickly. I'll check for you, gas mask reviewer. September the 19th. So 9 days away. I've seen the K1 before, but I've never seen one for sale in the UK, and I imagine if they did turn up, yeah, they'd be very expensive. When you say the rare MP6, do you mean the old MP6? The one that's like an SHM, but with the different valve assembly? I think you can tell Patreon you just want to do a one-time donation, but you have to read up on how to do that. You can do that, I know there is a way of doing a one-time donation through Patreon, but I'm not going to try and guesstimate how to do it in case it bills you a couple of times. Not really on decon properly, because I'm not trained to do it, and there's a lot that can go wrong. I mean, really all you could do, in my opinion, is water down a load of bleach and pour it over the NBC suit before taking the NBC suit off, and then trying not to touch the NBC suit, then immediately having a shower. But that's not going to decontaminate it from everything. Proper decon involves, you know, like specific powders and chemicals. Thank you very much for the donation. Yeah, I think B-Store had some of those for sale, but like I said, I wouldn't really buy... if it's like a GP5, basically derivative of a different valve on it, that wouldn't really interest me for £70. Yeah, thanks, mate. Yeah, that's interesting. You can actually get cream specifically for mustard gas. because they used to issue it during World War II. I'll be going for another 20 minutes or so, then I'm going to have my dinner. Yeah, I'll have to check Discord after the stream now. I'm not going to go into it during the time I'm streaming. Well, yeah, the US also dumped loads of radioactive material under a bit of concrete in the Pacific to claim that they'd cleaned up Bikini Atoll, which they haven't. Yeah, whatever's in the fridge is the answer to that. We're renovating part of the kitchen at the moment, so it's a bit of a mess in there. I've tried it, but I've gone back to regular shoes, although that's a bit riskier, just because it's more comfortable. If I got a new pair of steel toe caps that were really comfortable to be on all day, then I'd go back to steel toe caps, but one pair of my steel toe caps that fits me really nicely aren't black, so that'd be unsuitable for work. The other pair that are black, I think they've worn away a bit too much inside, so when I wear them all day, that just makes my feet sore. Yeah, it's in the FAQ, it's for patrons only. Yep. I'm sure there has been, but I've never seen them. But most 60mm masks, the idea was that they were designed for filters. Can you remember what they were, Callum? Because what I kind of want is like formal looking things rather than looking kind of too informal, if that makes sense, and with a steel, like a reinforced toe cap. Ideally like an easy to wipe down material as well, because obviously my boots get pretty dirty in a cleaning job, or my shoes get pretty dirty when I'm wearing them. I watch some of his videos, Ben, when it's on something I'm more interested in, but I don't watch all the ones on slingshots because I don't find slingshots that interesting. Speaking of, all my slingshots are broken now because the rubber on them's just been on them too long that the straps have totally, well, not the straps, you know, the bands have totally frayed. So if I did get another slingshot, I'd have to get a new one or redo the bands. I think slingshots are kind of useful and everything, it's just I've not really got much interest in a channel that does nothing but slingshots. I do watch his crossbow videos now and again and stuff, but... strange, it should work fine. Does that same filter work if you put it directly on the mask? If so, there's something blocking the hose. Yeah, well, the half-life of lots of radiation is literally thousands of years. So Chernobyl's still going to have quite you know, a long effect. No, we were on about medals earlier. I don't collect them because I consider it like a stolen valor thing. Not collecting them, but you know, I'd never wear them or anything like that. So I've just got no interest in medals. Yeah, but does the filter that you're trying to put on it then work? I'm obviously not Russian. Yeah, it can literally, yeah, be thousands of years, like I was saying. Yeah, I'm obviously British. You literally just need to pour water through a hose, to be honest. Anything you can't get out like that, you're not really going to be able to get out. Probably Flecktarn for favourite camo. Although I like the older version of Flecktarn, not the newer one. Because for some reason, like the original 80s Flecktarn was a lot brighter, and then the newer prints of Flecktarn are just like this really boring brown kind of rust colour, rather than it being like, you know, like red, yellow and kind of green like the older Flecktarn was. You know, you're breathing through an asbestos filter then, aren't you? But regardless, I can't give you a reason it's not working, because in theory it should work fine. I've never had that happen. Because if you've got a hose that works on other masks and a filter that works on other masks, you put that hose and filter together and it works fine on other masks, then you put on one mask that should work. It doesn't work, the problem's the mask. Yeah, the 1990s Flecktarn's the same as the 80s Flecktarn. The brighter colours. FM12's probably started production early 2000s, I'd guess. Because the S10 was around from the 80s to the 90s, and as far as I'm aware, FM12s and CT12s are like early 2000s they went into production, because they're the successor to the S10. No, Callum, I only got your first boot comment, so YouTube's removed it. YouTube live streams are really not very good in the sense of trying to make comments, because it seems loads of them just get permanently deleted. If it caused a problem, Callum, don't try and post it again, because I don't want YouTube shadow banning you from my channel because it thinks you're trying to link something. Oh, when I first got gas masks, I didn't know anything about them. Yeah, I thought I'd be getting more comments than this, to be honest, if it's set to 10 seconds. I suppose with these streams you generally hit your peak amount of viewers within the first couple of minutes of the stream, and then the views decline. But like what you're saying about the gas mask, I've done videos talking about all that stuff before, so I really don't like repeating myself. That's one of the problems of these streams. I know I've got a lot of videos, but I would appreciate it if people use the search function before asking a lot of the questions. No. Stop trying to post it, Callum, because YouTube's going to shadow ban you. I know it for a fact, because it's done it to so many people by this point. That's cool. Has it got the wire cutter on it? I've never got how the SA-80 bayonet's attached to the rifle. Does the bayonet like go directly over the barrel or something? Because I've seen pictures of them, but I can never actually work out how they... I'll look it up now. But whenever I've seen them actually attached to a rifle, I can't quite work out where the bullet's meant to go through. I guess the blade is offset to one side, is it? Yeah, Calvin Hatch is really interesting. Just get there early, I'd say, and spend as much time as you want in there. So it is actually on the side, it's just really hard to tell from pictures where it is. Yeah, so it's offset and you plug it through the barrel. Yeah, that makes sense. It's just from pictures you can't actually tell that. It just looks like the blade's in the way of the barrel. But yeah, like I said, I have loads of problems on these streams now where people are trying to post stuff and YouTube's just deleting their comment, but it doesn't even tell me it's deleted the comment, and it seems if people do it too often, YouTube shadow bans them. Because I've had people who kept having it removed. They kept saying, like, you know, I can't see, why aren't you replying to my comments? And eventually I just stopped getting comments from them, even though they said they were trying to comment, so... why would I try and do that gas mask reviewer? That would be several £100,000, I guess, to buy one, or renting would be stupidly expensive. Totally pointless in the UK economy. If I was trying to buy something, I'd buy a little tiny cottage in the middle of nowhere as cheap as possible. I hate cities as well, so I would not want a flat. PBF is the best of the cheek filter masks in my opinion. Oh, so you can't even shoot through it? No, I'll have a quick Google of it, but that might mean I'll finally get to test out my not NBC suit, my like Gorka suit thing. No, I can't see any reliable news articles talking about it, but whatever, I see lots of tabloid crap on the weather. I don't know, 80s would probably be the most fun. So there's people already contradicting each other in the comments, and I don't know who's right, but I'd assume the bayonet would be offset, or it's a pretty useless bayonet. L1A1 SLR astronauts. I know, probably GP5, because everybody has a GP5 and they constantly talk about them. That's why when people keep saying to me, oh, why don't you go on all the gas mask forums and talk to people, it's because most of them are just filled up with GP people talking about GP5s and saying, is this filter safe? Like I said, it's probably not the case all the time, but it's just every time I've ever gone on them, I've just always been annoyed because that's what ends up happening. Oh yeah, I would never want to live in a city. Yeah, it's just a really nice version of the FAL, and the FAL was like a brilliant rifle, right arm of the free world. I just like it because it was, you know, one of those rifles used by loads of countries during the Cold War. It's like the West's version of the AK, in a sense, because of how mass-produced it was, and the L1A1 is just a high-quality version of it. I've been to Lincolnshire. Don't know if I've actually been to Lincoln itself. The thing is, I've been to loads of areas of the UK throughout my life, so asking me if I've been to all of them, I probably can't remember. It's weird, Sheep, because I thought a comment like that would probably get shadow banned by YouTube, but it doesn't, but lots of the other comments do. It just doesn't make sense. I think he's making a joke, Shackleton. But my point is the YouTube like censoring system's just totally broken. It would protect your head from a bit of an impact, that would be it. As far as I'm aware, no, because whenever I've seen S10 filters, they normally come in like a foil wrap, don't they? Rather than actually having a plug in the bottom. Yeah, I've been to Sheffield ages ago. I watched the kill list the other day and I didn't realise nearly all that was filmed in Sheffield, but it doesn't say where they filmed the bit at the MP's manor house, because I'd like to know that. Yeah, motorbike helmets are kind of similar to riot helmets, so they'd be good, but not like push bike helmets. because they're literally designed to, you know, give your head a little bit of impact protection, whereas motorbike helmets are designed for that, but at higher speeds, and obviously to give face protection. Well, as far as I'm aware, the Soviets had like 80 plus nuclear warheads aimed at the UK, so it wouldn't just be Sheffield that would get nukes, it would be literally everywhere. And if we assume that each of those warheads was 1 megaton, then that's like 80 megatons spread across the UK, yeah, it would be wiped out. Actually, it'd probably be far more than 80 megatons, because some of them would probably be higher yield warheads. I think Fred's, though, was filmed in London, wasn't it? It was like filmed on some sort of council estate they were knocking down, which is why all the houses look like they're falling apart. A bit like how Death Wish 3 was filmed in a similar sort of location. No, one SAR bomb, 50 megatons, would wipe out, if it was dropped on London, like all of London, the bit of the surrounding area. The 100 megaton SAR bomb, if it was dropped in the very middle of the UK, would wipe out a lot of it, but not all of it. I don't think SAR bomb's as powerful as people think it is. It's very powerful in terms of just how high yield it is, but it wasn't deliverable by a missile, and it was kind of built as a test bomb. I mean, you could use duct tape on it, I guess, but I'll have a look on Discord when I finish the stream, which will be in like 3 or 5 minutes. The USSR has more of what? The USSR doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, Britain doesn't have many nukes, though. In terms of, like, at the height of the Cold War, I think the Americans had several thousand nuclear warheads. The Russians had, like, 10,000 something, and Britain had, like, 200. Supposedly they didn't. Supposedly they built SAR bomb, which could have been up to 100 megatons. They built the 50-odd megaton version. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they built more, but SAR bomb was a test bomb, because they were using nuclear warheads on missiles by that point. Having air-deliverable regular bombs wasn't really in their strategy. Yeah, the SAR bomb did fit in a plane, because they airdropped it from a plane. I think you're trolling at this point, to be honest, because you keep saying contradictory things. They dropped the SAR bomb from a plane with a parachute, and the plane only just got away but without being knocked out. Well, regardless, that's deliverable by plane, isn't it? If it's strapped to the plane drops it, that's an air-delivered bomb. But it was the same casing as far as I'm aware. It was literally that they just didn't put as much filler in it. Because as far as I'm aware, the casing was going to be exactly the same thing. And it's like what they put in it. It's like why Castle Bravo was 15 megatons and not the expected 6 megatons. Because like the stuff they filled it with was more reactive than they thought. I've already answered that in an old Q&A video. Yeah, if it's one that's definitely working for $50, I'd say so. But it depends on the genre, to answer your question simply. Well, no, because mother of all bombs are only like a kiloton, aren't they? Let's have a look at... Because I had somebody the other day saying nuclear weapons are obsolete. Okay, so the GBU-43 has a blast yield of 11 tons. That's tiny. So, yeah. That, and unless you're like specifically saying in a thing where you can't drop a nuclear bomb. 11 tons is, what, 0.11 kilotons? So it's like 100 for the power of little boy. It's pointless in terms of a big bomb thing. Why does that matter? If you're bombing people, you really don't care about radiation. Ah, you're just trolling, aren't you? Right, bye. Yeah, no, I'm sure a SAR bomb documentary would be interesting, sheep. I don't think you can feed people with tape. That's kind of the problem with communism. Everybody starves eventually. I don't think you can get the bread line shorter either with tape. Anyway, it's been an hour. Because he was just... I don't know if it's like troll or idiot, but I'm not going to feed them and give them more info, but you know what I mean. He kept saying things on purposely contradicting themselves and then getting funny about it. Like, did the bomb fit on the plane or in the plane? It's really specifically, you know, a point that I get that right. And then, unless you mean why bother trolling, I don't know. And then it was, you know, just all the stuff about, you know, no, this really low yield bomb is really powerful. Well, it's not. No, because of radiation. Because I had somebody the other day trying to make the argument that, like, the mother of all bombs could replace nuclear weapons, and it's like, no, it really can't, because they're not high enough yield compared to a nuke. If you compare, like I was just saying, as much as SAR bomber wouldn't have been made mass-produced, a 50-odd megaton bomb, you know, look at the blast yield of it, and then compare it to the mother of all bombs. Or just literally look at Little Boy from Hiroshima, compare it to mother of all bombs. Yeah, it's literally like saying something far more powerful is obsolete because something far weaker has replaced it. It's like saying your PC is obsolete because a PS1 exists, or something like that. Anyway, like I said, I'm finishing the stream now, so thanks for watching. For the most part, it's been good. As I said, annoyingly, despite the big read the description bit, lots of people ignoring FAQ things. Which is one of the reasons, you know, that kind of annoys me when I do these streams, that you don't get as many good questions because you've got lots of people asking the same stuff over and over again. So yeah, see you everybody, and I will check the Discord in a minute and answer your question about the thing. So see ya.